Welcome back to the Stateless Standard, where we refuse to swallow the comforting lie that history's most powerful fraternity is just a charity club with funny handshakes. Tonight, we dissect the polite fiction that Freemasonry is merely a system of morality veiled in allegory. That line has been repeated so often, it's practically a lullaby. The truth is far less innocent. Freemasonry functions as the most successful on-ramp in Western history to actual, practical occultism, complete with initiations, spirit evocations, and a curriculum that escalates faster than most people can stomach. And the best part? They still get tax-exempt status and royal patrons. Stay for the next 12 minutes if you want to watch the veil tear in real time. Let us begin with the brochure version. 3 degrees entered apprentice, fellow craft, master mason. A few oaths, some theatrical play acting about Hiram Abiff, a charity barbecue, and you're handed a ring and told you've seen the light. That's the exoteric crust. It is deliberately bland, designed to survive inquisitions, revolutions, and papal bulls. It worked. Since 1717, Masonry has been banned, indicted by the same crowns that once burned its members. The genius is in the bait and switch. The real curriculum begins after the public thinks the story ends. Albert Pike, 33rd degree Sovereign Grand Commander of the Scottish Rite, put it with refreshing brutality in Morals and Dogma, 1871. The blue degrees are but the outer court. The true explanation is reserved for the adepts, the princes of Masonry. Translation: the first 3 degrees are kindergarten. The remaining 30 are postgraduate work in ceremonial magic, Kabbalah, and, depending on the jurisdiction, actual evocation of entities that do not appear in Sunday school. Consider the latter: 4 degree to 14 degrees, Scottish Rite, heavy Hermeticism, alchemy, Rosicrucian symbolism. 18, explicit Christian Hermetic fusion. The pelican feeding its young with its own blood is straight out of alchemical texts. 30 degrees Knight Kadosh. You literally stab a crown and a papal tiara on a skull while swearing vengeance for the Templars. Subtle. 32 degree. Sublime Prince. The tetragrammaton is pronounced, the lost word is recovered, and you are taught the actual pronunciation that, according to tradition, can raise the dead. Honorary. But the rituals involve the Luciferian interpretation made infamous by Pike's letter to Mazzini. Whether that letter is authentic or not is irrelevant. The doctrine already exists inside the higher degrees. Meanwhile, the York Rite offers its own escalator, Royal Arch, where you rediscover the true name of God hidden under Solomon's temple. The cryptic degrees, vault rituals lifted straight from Egyptian mystery schools. And finally, the Knights Templar, complete with black magic accusations recycled from 1314, and that's just the regular obediences. Continental and Egyptian rites, Memphis Misraim, 99 degrees, go full Cagliostro. Sex magic, Goetia, the whole catalog. The average lodge brother never sees any of this. He pays his dues, flips pancakes, and dies believing the lodge is about brotherhood. The system is perfect. The bottom funds the top, and the top never has to explain itself to the bottom. Let's not take my word for it. 1782 Wilhelmsbad Conference officially aligns Freemasonry with the Bavarian Illuminati. Weishaupt's own correspondence brags that the lodge structure is the perfect cover. 19th century French occult revival. Éliphas Lévi, Pappas, Oswald Wirth, all high-degree Masons who openly admit the lodge was their laboratory. Golden Dawn. Mathers, Westcott, Waite. Every major founder was a Mason who used lodge contacts to access medieval grimoires. Aleister Crowley entered the irregular co-Masonry, then leapt to the even more irregular Ordo Templi Orientis, which still uses Masonic structure to this day. Even the rationalist 20th century couldn't kill the pattern. Jack Parsons, founder of JPL and the Babylon Working, ran an OTO lodge inside a Masonic temple in Pasadena. NASA's rocket scientist moonlighting as a Thelemic sorcerer in a building full of Shriner clowns upstairs. You cannot make this up. Here's where the real cynicism shines. Freemasonry solved the oldest problem in occultism. How do you transmit forbidden knowledge across centuries without getting burned at the stake every generation? Answer: give 95% of your members a harmless social club and hide the real doctrine inside an onion of 30 additional degrees that require wealth, connections, and stomach. The Catholic Church spent centuries trying to stamp it out and only managed to create martyrs. The lodges just went underground, rebranded, and waited. The modern apologist will insist high-degree occultism is symbolic. That is the same argument used by every drug dealer who claims he only sells plant medicine. When your 32nd degree ritual requires you to drink wine from a human skull while invoking Jabon, an amalgam of Jehovah, Baal, and Osiris, let us not pretend this is metaphorical Boy Scouting. So where does this leave us? Freemasonry is not satanic in the cartoon sense its detractors love to scream about. It is far more elegant than that. It is a multi-level marketing scheme for the soul. Most recruits stay on the ground floor selling kitchen knives, while a tiny elite ascend to the penthouse where the real product, heavy-duty occult initiation, is quietly distributed. The craft's greatest trick was convincing the world that the doorway leads to a charity hall, when in reality, it is the longest and most respectable conveyor belt ever built toward the Western esoteric tradition in its rawest form. If you still believe the lodge is just old men raising money for Shriners hospitals, congratulations. You're exactly the kind of useful camouflage the system has counted on for 300 years. This is the stateless standard. If this dissection of the velvet curtain disturbed your sleep, good. Hit subscribe, ring the bell, and drop a comment. At which degree do you think the mask finally comes off? We read every single one. Until next time, watch whose hand you shake and what that handshake might really mean.